Send it. I want everyone to go on that link, and once you do, please type in yes into the question and answer chat. Until then, I will wait. I'll wait for like about a minute or so, and then after that, we'll move on. Okay, I'm done. Yes, I'm assuming you guys are on there, and time to move on. Once you get onto the link, press Image Project, press Standard Image Model, and then we're going to go. You're going to see this screen. Make this a bit bigger. So, what are we going to do here? So, what this basically is basically we're going. This is literally like the machine that we're going to teach. So, if we see here, we have two different classes, class 1 and class 2. In this machine, what we're going to do is we're going to actually teach it to differentiate between a dog and a cat. So, rename class 1 as cat, and the second one as dog. Uh, I'll give you guys a minute to do that. Uh, I'm gonna take it really slowly today because I want you guys to like actually thoroughly do this because this is gonna be really kind of exciting kind of thing. It's very fun. It's what I think is very fun. Okay, I'm assuming you guys did that. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go onto this website called Kaggle, and then it's a place where we can get data sets. And since we need to train this machine, because what training does is that basically it teaches the machine how to do things. So to teach it, we need to go to Kaggle. I'm going to send the link in the notes and resources chat. I want everyone to go on there, and then once you're there, press download up here. And if you download it, which I already had done it, you're gonna get a file that says that's called archive. Go to training set, and then you can just open it as such. Give me a second, please. Download training sets. And within here, we're gonna have two files called dog and cat. Once you guys get there, please type done or whatever you want in the chat, so I know that you're there. All right, I'm assuming you guys have done this to a certain degree. So first, we're gonna upload cat. We're gonna press upload, and since if we do a lot, there's like a lot of files. If we see here, there's like over 1,000. What we want to do is that instead of getting everything, we're just gonna get the first 100. So we're gonna click and drag until we get about 100. Drag it onto this, and then it's gonna load it on. That's cat. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for dogs. So it doesn't have to be exactly 100. I'm just doing that because I can. And then we load it on. Uh, I'm gonna give you guys another minute to just try that to just get it uploaded. Um, what is the next? What is next after clicking the link? The Kaggle. I'm assuming after you press Kaggle, what happens is that you see here dogs and cat, right? You want to click on this button that says download. Click on it, and it's gonna download a file onto your computer. Downloading. And then once it downloads, go into your downloads file, open it up, go to ARC, uh, go to it, training set, and then you're gonna see the two files within your computer. I don't necessarily know which computer you're using, so I just after you download it, just go to the downloads file within your computers, and then it's gonna be called archive.zip or something. Open that, and within it, you'll see some images as such, and then just click and drag the first 100. Don't put in the DS store one because that's something else, and that's kind of a random file. Just starting from cat 1 and down. All right. Sorry, I thought I should have explained that much better. That's on me. I'll give you guys another minute or so to just try that out. Is everyone at the point where they have uploaded images? If not, please tell me. Uh, I'm assuming everyone is at the point where they have uploaded it. If you see here, so what you want to do next is press train model, and it's gonna train. You're gonna want to wait a bit because it does need to do it. And now it's on. If you see on my screen, it says webcam. You just want to change the file, and then just choose a random file, random image from the cat and dog, and then just drag it on, and it'll tell you if it's a cat or not. As you can see, it works. However, this machine is not perfect. Sometimes it will make mistakes. If you see here, it's not making a mistake. However, I'll show you an example where it will. And if you want to see an example of a mistake, if you go to dogs, 4,000 something. Give me a second, let me just quickly find it. Let's see, it's not here. Cats. There's certain cases where it gets confused. I'll try to find an example. That's 100% cat. Shucks. You can just try putting in random things, and you'll see sometimes it'll make a mistake. Let's see. What's the one with the cage? Yeah, I just want to ask, like, teacher just asked, is everyone good? I'm hoping you guys are all at this point. Uh, since I can't find any confusing ones right now, I'm gonna show you something fun. Cancel. If you go to webcam and it opens, you can see your face, right? It'll tell you if you look like a cat or not. It says here, I look more like a cat than a dog. If everyone's at this point, I want you to try it out too. I want you guys to see what the computer says if you look like a cat or a dog. Apparently, I look like a cat. If I flip camera, same thing. Okay. The cat, perfect. And again, perfect. If you see here, this computer has learned relatively quickly. If you see here, yes, as you can tell, this is a cat. If we look at this image, it's a cat, right? However, the computer is sure that it's a cat, but it has a 1% chance that it's a dog. As you can see, the computer is not perfect either. And if we just try it more, that's perfect. How about this one? Perfect. This one, more. The machine this time is actually working fairly well, which is a good thing. Cat. Uh, let's try some dogs. I've been only trying cats. I want to make sure dogs is also working. So, guys, take it slowly. Don't. This isn't a high pressure thing. So just take your time. Try experimenting with it like I am. It's fun to play around with this. Dog. Perfect. Dog again. While you're doing this, there's a bunch of cute dog pictures too. Dog and cat pictures that you can look at. So that's fun. Let's try this one. Dog. That's adorable. That's also. Oh yes. This picture. This evil picture. Why do I say it's evil? You put it in here. It won't let me. Fun. I'm gonna download this. 4840. I cannot find stuff. And if we upload this, it works. Sometimes what it does, it'll say, "Oh, that's a cat." It'll sometimes confuse. So this time it's actually working fairly nicely. Yeah, this machine is actually working very well. Usually it gets confused and calls that a cat, but if we see here this time, it works perfectly. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a few, I'm gonna give you like 2-3 minutes, just to try it out because it's fun. Like it's a new thing. I like experimenting with things. I just want you to try it out. I'll give you like a second or so. Yeah, just guys, try it out. Try playing around with this. I want you to have fun with this one because the concept of a machine learning actually is really profound because before people have said computers can't be like humans, like that's what differentiates us. The thing that differentiates machine from human is the fact, the ability to learn. However, through teachable machines, we're one step closer to making like computers more lifelike, human-like, which is simultaneously very scary and kind of exciting at the same time. So yeah, like new things, yeah. I want you guys to play around, I said a few seconds ago, play around with it a bit. It's kind of like, and it's kind of fun to do. So, anyways, yeah, I'll give you guys like a few minutes to do, just play around with it and have fun. Like I said, this is a really exciting thing to be able to have a machine that actually learns. Because the concept of a machine learning things is actually very profound, like I said. If you have any questions, please leave it in the Q&A chat. I am on there, as you can tell, with my screen share. And yeah, if you have any questions, just ask right away. Here's our Oh, this is a fun picture. As you can see here, we have both, right? Let's see what my machine says. My machine says it's cat. Uh, try it on your machine, guys, because depending on how you train your machine, it'll give different things. Like for you, someone, it might be like a 50-50. While for me, it's not. Like I said, I'll give you guys a few minutes to play around with it. I'm also very enjoying enjoying this a lot. It's actually really fun for me because yeah, as you can tell, this is probably a dog. Ah, Kennedy, your data says it's 50-50. That's very interesting. Mine said it was mostly cat, as you can tell. Uh the one that June teacher just sent. If you look at it, it's a dog, but it says it's a cat. Apparently, Kennedy's machine that he trained is a bit smarter than mine. Mine is a bit stupider one. Yeah. Uh, Play around with it. There's if you go on the internet, there's a bunch of pictures. Like if you go onto the internet, just like mm, yeah, this one will be fun. As you see here, upload that. Huh. My computer has identified it as a cat. Yes, indeed. So something very interesting about this is to us, this is very simple. It's simply just uploading picture, pressing train, and then uploading pictures or turning on the webcam as such, right? However, it's very confused right now. However, behind all of this is a bunch of like interesting concepts, like interesting things happening behind it. So I'm gonna explain a few key terms. So what's an this thing that trains? It goes through this idea called epochs. So what an epoch is, aha, it's confused. As you can see, it also changes its answer at times. So what an epoch is basically the amount of times the computer goes through different processes to actually learn the data. So the formal definition of an epoch, according to Google, is a period of time, right? It's basically each epoch that'll happen is basically this is an instance of the computer learning. So that's like the simplest form, a way of explaining an epoch. And then there's another keyword called learning rates. So what is the learning rate? If you look at the word, uh, it's kind of simple. It's the formal definition is a tuning parameter in an optimization algorithm that determines the step size at each iteration while moving toward a minimum of a loss function. I just gave you a bunch of very difficult words. So, what does that mean? It's basically saying it's the amount of times the algorithm, the code, basically goes through to make sure there's a minimal loss function. So what is a loss function? Loss function is basically a discrepancy value. Basically how it's basically like your accuracy rate kind of thing. Yeah. those are like the key words that you really need to know. Uh, very big words. Let's say even I get confused about these words. So if you understood what I just said, or if you have like even the smallest idea, great job. If you have no idea, me neither. Uh, guys, just try it out. It's kind of fun, like I said. Something I personally like really think is cool. Once again, I'm gonna actually give you guys another minute to try it out, and then what we're gonna do after this is we're gonna actually move on to something else. Now, okay, guys. There's another thing you can do is you can actually send this link to your like your phone or something, like your portable device, and then make a tiny URL, and then we're gonna go on to like a portable device, and we're gonna type that in. Give me a second. I will turn on my camera and show you as such. tinyurl.com/7pxcjyt. I'm gonna send this tiny URL to all of you. Norton Resources. It's just the access point to my training model that I made. You can use your own if you want. What you can do on here is, okay. There seems to be a bit of a problem because I cannot, I cannot actually open it right now on my phone. That's very unfortunate. Uh, yes, I forgot to export model. You know, that is very true. Upload my model. It's uploading. Upload it. And I copy that. I need to make another tiny URL because I made the wrong one. Make sure, guys, press export model. I totally forgot to do that. I'm going to resend the link. Send a link to my. Apparently, I cannot send a link to myself. Gonna have to type that in again. PS tinyurl.com slash YCYBWAUA. And all right. So I'm gonna turn on my computer. I'm gonna stop streaming for a second, and now I'm gonna turn on my my camera. Hello. Hi, I hope you guys can see me. Yes. Yeah, I forgot. After you press upload share, press upload my cloud model, and afterwards, after it stops saying uploading. Press copy. Go to tiny URL. I'm gonna actually put the link in the notes and resources chat. Go on there and then make your tiny URL, and then go on to your small device, your portable one, and then what you want to do is turn on webcam. Why won't it turn on? Reload the screen. Wow. It's not working again. Give me a second, guys. I need to give it access. Let me see. Sorry. Yes. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show you on my phone. It working, but I don't know why it's not let. It seems my phone does not support this. Does not support teachable model machine, which is very annoying. However, I'm hoping that it works on your guys' computers. All right. Okay, guys, it only works if you have an Android device. If you have one on iPhone, it doesn't work. And also, yeah, what is your phone, by the way, guys? Yeah, try it out, guys, on your phone. Yeah, I can't really help you right now with that because I do not have an Android myself, so I'm not very proficient in that. If you have any questions still, I can try to help if you leave it in the chat. If you have any questions, guys, please leave it in the chat. Yes, Chin Teacher just has sent her own teachable machine. If you guys want to try that out, that might work better than mine per se. Uh, yeah, I'll give you guys a few minutes to try it out. This Chin Teacher is a dog. Interesting. On the other half, it did say I was a cat when I did it on my computer. You guys should totally try it out and see what you come out as. Remember, if you have any questions, please just leave it in the chat. If not, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to just try it out. Once again, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. If not, I'll give you guys a few minutes to just play with it. I'm pretty sure you can save it onto your Google Drive. I'm pretty sure. Uh, okay, guys. I'm gonna actually move on to something more. I'm gonna do some additional things here. Uh, yeah. We're gonna move on to this other thing called the machine supervised learning. We're actually learn how to predict lemonade sales today. I'm going to share my screen, and please tell me if you can see it or not. All right. Stream. Stream. All right. Can you guys still see my screen? Is it being shared properly? Can you see the screen where it says supervised learning, the future of Tanzania? Uh, can you guys see my screen right now? If not, I will accommodate. Please tell me. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen, and I'm going to move on. So, supervised learning. What is it? It's machine supervised learning is like the cause, and machine learning is the effect of it. Okay, thank you. Is the effect of the, as we call it, the supervised learning. So, we're gonna learn how to use supervised learning under the example of lemonade sales. So, if we see here, this graph gives you a cause and effect model. The cause being the temperature, and the effect being the sales. So, at 30, we have 60 sales. At 24 degrees, we have 48 sales. At 20 degrees, we have 40 sales. And at 40, we think that it's 80 sales. That red square, as it says next to it, is unknown. But how did we get to 80? We use previously known data to predict the future in a sense. So, we can see the pattern that 30 and 60. 30 times 2 is 60, 24 times 2 is 48, 20 times 2 is 40. So, knowing that pattern, we can assume that 40 times, we can multiply 2 to 40 to get 80. So, the cause is the independent variable because it doesn't matter. And we have the dependent variable, which is basically saying, uh, which is basically depends on the temperature. And we put that into the machine to train, and then the model will return the temperature times 2. As we see here, literally, we shove in a variable. Like, we don't shove in, we put it in input number, and then the model will predict the fact that it's times 2, and then it'll spit out 30. And yeah, so regression is like looking back at the previously known data and using the previously known data to predict the future. And classification is literally the word the cat or dog is saying. This is this, and this is that kind of thing. Lemonade sales is a regression model. If we see here, these are the steps to basically making a uh, learning machine in a sense. So we first get the data, then we create the model, and using the data that we have prepared in step 1, we train the model, basically called fitting, and then we input a number and then see if the model works. So I want everyone to go on Google Colab and basically make a new collab and title it Lemonade Sales. I'm going to send the link. I'm gonna share it actually. I'm gonna send a link to mine specifically. However, I want everyone to actually make their own file and type along with me. And I'm just gonna type here to show you guys what it should look like. I hope everyone's here at this point. I did just dump a bunch of information and then tell you to do something. So I'm gonna give you guys like a minute to just get to this point. If you have any questions, please leave it in the chat. Like I said, like I'm always open. Uh, a few more seconds. I'm assuming everyone is at this point, and I will now be moving on. So, first, we're gonna import the modules. Remember what I said yesterday? Modules are like the library books that we have access to for free. This training model does work under Python as well. So I'm gonna put hashtags and then explain what these parts do. So when you go onto the link that I have sent later on, you can see what each part does. We're importing the modules. So we have to import three things: TensorFlow, Pandas, and Math. So import TensorFlow. And we're gonna write as TF. Why are we writing the STF? Because it's like complicated to write TensorFlow every time we use it. We can just abbreviate it as TF. We're gonna import pandas as PD, so we can type pandas as PD, and then we're just gonna import math as math because it's fine. And then after you do this, you write these three, press run, so you can actually import these models and put them into your system right now. So give it a second. If nothing happens afterwards, that's what's supposed to happen. Nothing is supposed to happen, so we're gonna wait a bit. I'm gonna wait for a second for you guys. Hopefully you guys catch up. Not catch up, but like are here. But still, I'll wait a second. All right. I'm assuming you guys are this. And then we're gonna add another code block. And to do that, we're just gonna press the button up here that says code. And then there, we're gonna prepare the data. All right. And since this is step one within the grand scheme of things, is data preparation. And then here we're gonna write data path. We're making a new variable, data path is equal to. We're gonna put quotation marks, and then we actually I have this pre-established link that we have. I'm gonna copy, send it in the resources, and if you type this into the thing up here, you're gonna see this. This is basically a data set. You see here 40, 40, 42 like this. And then within these quotation marks, you can just put the link in there. I'm gonna actually wait a second for you guys to get. Actually, no, I'll finish this code chunk and then I'll wait. And then we're gonna make another variable called lemonade, and it's gonna equal to pd, which is pandas. Pd dot read CSV. CSV being the file type CSV, and it's gonna be data path. Data path being literally the link that we put, and then lemonade dot and no, whoops, wrong ones. I'm gonna press that. I spelled lemonade wrong. Remember, guys, spelling is important, and you have to be consistent with that spelling. And yes, it seems all the data has been inputted correctly. Any question, guys? And even if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna wait a second for you guys to catch up. Any questions? If so, please leave it. Not, please just tell me. If you have any questions, guys, please leave it in the chat. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to catch up, just in case. I keep on hearing notifications, but I don't see anything. All right, I'm gonna move on. We're gonna make another code block, and this is another step within part one. We're gonna actually make the independent variable. Independent, and data. And within here, we're literally gonna establish what the independent variable. You can name the variables anything. Personally, I like to keep it short, so I'm just gonna write int for independent variable. Lemonade. And then we're gonna put two brackets. Why am I putting two brackets? Because I wanted to make this into a 2D array. A 2D array is a array that has rows and columns. So we're gonna in there, we're gonna write temperature because the independent variable is temperature. I spelled lemonade wrong. If you see here, it's there. And the dependent ones, I'm just gonna call DP. All right, lemonade sales. So why am I writing things? Because if you look within lemonade, lemonade has temperature and sales as their different thing. And it's a 2D array because there's two columns and two rows, if you see here. Because we have the row of data, and then we have the two rows of the variables. And then within there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna print the shape. So why are we printing the shape? It's to check if the model is working properly or not. Print int dot shape, comma dp dot shape. And if we run this, you just get 6161. So you might be wondering what is this 61 and 61, right? So basically what the 6 is is basically your number of datas, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 is just the input shape that we're gonna use later. It's very complicated that I'm not like, fully understanding myself. So up to this point, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to wait a minute just so you can type that out and try to process what I said, because I did kind of just data dump. I am hearing sounds, but I don't see sound. I hope everyone is caught up. I'm gonna move on. So now we create the model, which is to create model. And within there, we're gonna make our x and y variables that are gonna be used. We're gonna bring in TensorFlow, TF, Keras, that layers, that input shape is equal to 1. We're just getting the first row, I believe. And then we're going to do the same, similar thing for y. TF that Keras that layers, but instead of input, as we did up here, what we want to do is we're going to write dense. I get 1, basically the same row, and then x being the x variable, literally, like x or y kind of up here. And then we're going to make the model literally model equal to TF that Keras models the model x, and then we're gonna do model pile plus is equal to MSE. And then we're gonna run this and make sure nothing comes out. Because through this, we're just establishing the variables that they exist. So I'm gonna, like before, I'm gonna wait a second for you guys to catch up. I am hearing sound, but I don't see anything happening. I hope everyone is caught up because I will be moving on in just a minute. All right. Next section. So now we need to train the model that we just made. I'm gonna try model, and this is also known as fitting. So we're just gonna write fit, and then we're gonna write model dot fit, and you can write whatever variable name you put for independent deep. And for epochs, like I said before, is like the number of repetitions. We're gonna for epochs, we're just gonna write 10 right now, and then we're gonna train it. And if we see here, I ran it 10 times, right? It says 49293. That's a really big number. That's something we don't want. We want the loss to be as small as possible because the smaller the loss, the more accurate it is. So we're going to change this from 10 to 1,000. However, I don't want to see all 1,000. That's going to be really long. So we're just going to write verbose, and it's equal to 0. Verbose is how many times it shows, and I don't want to see it at all, so we're going to write 0. Run this. And yes, it just got trained 1,000 times. I'm actually going to erase the verbose part, change it back to 10, see what the loss is. As you can see here, the loss is extremely small, which is a good thing. And then if we want to get it as close to 0 as possible, we can literally train it like a bunch of times, like 6,000. You don't need it. I'm not saying you need to, I'm just saying you can. I'll just show you what happens if you do. You train that thing. It's gonna take a while because the system also needs to like process this thing. So it's gonna be like a bit long. So that's why I said you don't need to do it like because it's long. And then we're just do it 10 times. And then we want to see what the loss is. The loss is extremely small. That's a very good thing. I hope everyone is somewhere around this territory. In terms of their code, I'm gonna give you guys a second. I hope you guys can catch it. If you are behind, I will be waiting for a second. I hope everyone's at this point, because I will be moving on. And now, with all these epochs trained, what do we want to do? We want to try printing it. So print model dot predict parentheses 2 brackets, and I'm gonna write 15. We're gonna print this, and voila. If you see here, we're hoping to see the variable times 2, and we see here that we did get a times 2. It's a bit off, very minimal. We're gonna change 15 to, let's say, 60. Run it. 190. As you can tell, it's a bit off, but it's very close. It's very close. It's a good thing. So I can do 100. Yeah, as you can tell, if the numbers get bigger, it gets more inaccurate. So if you want to change that, you can just fit in more times. I totally forgot to write verbose 0. We're gonna do that one more time. Give me a second. I just want to show you as accurate as possible. Give it a second to load. Uh, Loading. All right, and we're gonna run 100 again. As you can tell, it got more accurate. And now, just the final additional part that to make it look neat, and we're gonna write it. what we're gonna do is this is basically asking we're making a code that says, "Hey, user, input the temperature to tomorrow's temperature." Put a space. Cups float model dot predict. We don't need to write temperature fully. It's just a variable name, so you can just write temp. And then we're gonna write cups equals round, because the reason we put the math function up there is so we can round things. Cups. We're changing cups. Why did that get deleted? And then we're gonna print prepare pair cups of lemonade. Lemonade. And then we're gonna write dot format cups. And if I do this, it says ask me for tomorrow's temperature. I'm gonna say it's really hot tomorrow. It's 99 degrees. And it says I should prepare around 198 cups of lemonade tomorrow. So, as you can tell, it's working very nicely. I want everyone to get to this point. I'm actually stop right now. Not like entirely, but I'm gonna stop for a second so you guys can try this out. I hope you guys are around here somewhere. Sorry about that. I had to sneak really quickly. If I'm actually going to wait about another minute, and then I'm gonna basically just give a brief explanation of what happened, basically what I just did, and then we're gonna move on to something else. Do we have any further questions right now? Any more questions about what we just learned? Like I said, I'm gonna send the link once more. I just sent you guys the link. Give me a second now. Quick message. I'm gonna share the link out. I sent you guys my sharing link so you guys can access mine and just try it out. If you have any questions, please leave it in the question and answers chat right now.
Well, once we get done with that, you might have remembered the panda thing that Sean was talking about. I'll be going into more detail in that today. So, so we'll be learning off the W3 schools page. But pandas, well, as we can see, is basically a Python library that's help that we can use with data sets. And Python, it's just a tool, a library that we can use to analyze data, which is very useful when we use AI, because when you train an AI, you need to go through a lot of data to be able to train it. And once we to be able to organize and get that data into the AI, we need to know how to use it. And Pandas is a tool that helps us do that. So, what can pandas do? So, pandas can help give you answers about the data. Like, is there a correlation between two or more columns? what's the average value in a column, what's the minimum value, what's the max value. And pandas can also manipulate and use data for things that just happen to be not relevant. Oh, you guys can't see both pages. Oh, sorry. I will reshare. Yes. So now you can see this new screen, which should have both the page and pandas. The W3 schools page. Probably turn off dark mode so you guys can see it better. And then let's get started. So I recommend using Replit since Replit already comes in with all the Python stuff installed. So I'll give everyone a moment to get Replit open. But while you do that, I'll just talk about, I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, so now I think you'd be on your way to having Replit open. So, the first time you run Replit, you'll have to install Pandas. So once you run it, it might take a while for it to load. But I already have that done. So, Pandas is a library, so you need to import it as usual. But then Pandas, so here we create a data set. So all of these have, 0, 1, 2. So BMW will be equivalent to 3, Volvo will be equivalent to 2, and Ford will be equivalent to 2. And then this is the type of cars, and this is plastics. And then, so this is the data set, and then data frame, pandas.data frame, and putting the set inside it will create that into basically a variable, kind of like a pandas variable that pandas can use to now manipulate and use the data. Yes. So I'll just run it one more time to show you an example of it. It is running. Yes, we can see 012, Volvo, BMW, Volvo, Ford, and then the equivalent passings. We can also change this up or add one more row. Let's try test. I have to say hi, hello, this is working. And then we can see that now there is a new row for test. Mhm. And let's say if you wanted like a really big data set, then having this might be really useful. So again, this is just creating a data set for Python for pandas. So first you create the data set and then you create the variable. So this is the rows are all decided because that's just what the data entry is. But then when you create it, you create the columns and then you create the data inside them. And you can leave. Mhm, yes. Oh, yes. And also, remember that talk about aliases earlier? Well, pandas in when it's used in the real world is very often imported as just PD because that's a lot shorter to write out than just like pandas. Import pandas as PD. So yeah, panda is just a different name, like an acronym, since that's easier to use. So that's just general practice. And we have the same thing, PD, PD. And this is just how you can check the pandas version in case if you ever want to see that. And I don't think that's something we need to test or demonstrate. So, mm, this thing that we've seen earlier, Well, it's functionally a column, but within pandas, it's called a series. So a series is just a one-dimensional array. It's just an array that can hold a data of any type. And here you can just create. And like you create a data frame, which is a whole set of data, you can do the same thing with pandas, but use series. So let's create a series in pandas right now. Have test series equals apple, pear, bun, um, strawberry. Yes, and then we can have but then no, because bar, because my bar is the pandas variable that we create, so that we can use the series within panda. We equal pd dot series test series. Yes, and then we can print out the series. Yay! Apple, pear, strawberry, and data type object. And notice that the first object starts out as 0 because this also uses 0 index. Yes. And then, index. You can also use indexes to print out a specific value. So if you want the first value of the series, then you can just print out 0 because we have 0 indexing. And this will print out apple. Let's give it a moment. Yes, apple. So basically, indexes, well, labels, are indexes but like named. So again, we have the array, well, series, but then we have the array that we create into a series. But when we create it, let's say we just want to call back the index x, y, z. These are the names. So set x to y to 7, and z to 2. This is kind of naming it just within pandas. So if we were to do this, then let's have index equals 1, no, first, second, third. I think this might help. Then instead of 0, you can just have first. And this needs to be a string because you can't have a number, otherwise it gets confused. I need to have quotes. So apple. Yeah, so this is just basically a name tag. Like we could have this as oh, then you'd have apple printed. And you could even have like let's do pear as a test. Because pear's already in here, but pear is just the name of the attribute though. Kind of like, yes, a name to the index. I hope this makes sense. You just basically, instead of having numbers, you just assign a name. I think that's the best way, quick way to explain it. Yes. And then, like, let's say you don't want to go through the bother of, like, naming everything individually in a separate place. You can also just do that like this right here, where you can just have the index, the labeling of day 1 to be 420, the labeling of day 2 as 380, the labeling of day 3 as 390. This, having this here, accomplishes the same thing as this here. So let's do that right now. first, second, third. Sorry, this is a bit lengthy. Yes, that's the correct format. Valid syntax. Was there not supposed to be a space here? Oh, I need to use brackets. Yes, if you're going to specify it with the key, then it's basically just a dictionary. So you can make a dictionary, then you can use the keys. Yeah, dictionary. And then basically you're setting the keys to the value. And then you can see why in like cases like this, having what's basically keys would be useful, because if you wanted to print out day one and have it as 420 calories, then you could switch out like day one, then still have it as day one and call on it specifically. Yes. And then a data frame, which was in the first example I showed you, it's basically a table. So not just one value, table. That's just the best way to say it. So it's in the same format as this, but instead of having like array to p to one value, you have p to array. The array is the value. So you could have array within the. Mm, okay, let's just follow calories and exercise duration. Calories. So this would let's have like this be a health tracker. And this is the amount of calories that someone eats for a meal. And then let's have this be the duration of exercise that they have after in minutes. Out of exercise. But you have a comma. And then this isn't a series anymore, it's a data, because we are making the data frame out of this. We're turning this dictionary into a variable that pandas can use through this command. Yes, you can't just print out 0, you have to print out the entirety of it. And I don't think test series is a very appropriate name. Switch it to, yeah, data frame. Series. So now let's go into more data frames in depth. So like, if you're confused why we're running this command, it's because this is the data in just Python. It's just raw Pythonese. It's just a dictionary. Dictionary with an array. But then this command turns it into a pandas variable that pandas can use to analyze data. Yes. And it'll print it out nice and neat for us. And we'll do this. So again, a data frame is just a table with rows and columns. And if you want to return a specific row, then you have to use LOC. That's why just having this didn't work. This is for series, but if we had LOC 0, then it worked. 0, yes, 0 should be 20-30 calories with duration of 20. And then this just describes the data, the row. So it's the 0th row, that's the name of the data. Remember, we can set the names with indexes later if we want, with index, but by default, it's 0. And then the data type is, they're all integers of 64 bytes. And then if we want to return multiple, then we can create an array within here. We can let's return everything. Let's have 0, 1, and then we'll return multiple. Yeah, which is just the entire table, but you can have everything but the first row. Yeah. Yeah, and same with series. You can also create indexes for, instead of just having 0, 1, 2, you can create named row, which is the same thing as index. Let's try that out right now. Text day 1, day, and day 3. Right? Because 1, 2 doesn't exist anymore. So that's just proof that this worked. Now it's day 1, day 2, and day 3 instead of 0, 1, 2. Yay. And then, yeah. So now if you want to print it out, you have to use LOC day 1. Because if you have a named index, then it's not numerical anymore. So there's no first, second, third. There's just day 1, day 2, and day 3. So the name is day 1, D type isn't 64. So it's not 0 anymore. 0 doesn't exist because you're getting this new name here. Yeah. Yes. And CSV files. So if you ever want to turn the data here into Python, then you can use data CSV. So this would be a file with data inside. And then you can just have a function that reads a CSV and you can turn it into Pandas variable. But then a CSV file it looks like this. So this would be kind of the table, duration, pulse, max calories. So this is probably some sort of health data. Then you have this long list. This would be duration, this would be pulse, then max pulse, calories. Long list. And so basically when we create an array in Python, we don't have to do it if we have a file that has all the data for us. But then if we want to be able to use it in Python, in Pandas, we have to create a Pandas variable. This. So once you get Pandas, let's see if we can copy this and then create a CSV file inside the replit. Data.csv. It doesn't have to be called data, but let's just paste in everything. And let's get rid of that. And let's read CSV. Then we can have data.csv because they're in the same directory. Then we can print out my.var. Let's see what it looks like. Might take a while because it's a big data.csv. Oh, right. Because it's a name, I need to have it with quotation marks. Oh, we can see the CPU is mad. So it concatenated for us, but there's 169 rows, 0 to 168, with 4 columns. Yes, so the old dictionary basically thing that we made does the same thing as this here. Then in real life, you'll be using CSV files a lot more because it's just not convenient to make like within the Python file when you could just have a file with all the data in itself. Hmm. And then yeah, and then this is the number, just Panda options display max rows. This is just like checking out the settings for pandas. If you want to see the maximum number of rows that your system can handle, we can use this command. Let's just comment this out for a sec while I demonstrate this. It didn't take too long, it's just displaying the setting. Invalid character and identifier. Was the space at the end? Yes. Don't put spaces at the end of your Python file, folks. The compiler doesn't like it. Yes, so 60 is the maximum number of rows that this replit can handle. Nice. Nice to know. And then let's say we want to set the new maximum. Oh, wait, no. It's not the maximum. It's the display setting. It's the maximum number of rows that pandas will display by default. So if we want to, okay, if you want to set it to show more rows, we can, yeah, this is basically just going into the setting so we can have more rows. And then it changes to 9999. Yeah. So if you ever want to see more or less rows in pandas, I think 60 is default. Then you can use this command to change the amount of rows that you'll see. Yeah, so that's it for CSVs. You know what? Let's set it to max, and then let's see how many more rows will print. Display all the rows. Yep, we changed it to display 9,099 rows. So here we can see all the rows. And this means that the data is empty. Yeah, so what I said before. So technically everything before it is a dictionary. So this is the data itself is the same thing as the CSV file, right? These two, they're bifunctionally they're the same. They have the same data. It's just that it's more convenient to put things in CSV files once they get really long. Well, now that we have a CSV file, printing just the head would be the top, and then you can also print the tail, which would be the bottom. So let's just print out the head. Let's print out the first 5 rows in our tail. Method object is not subscriptable. Oh, yep, sorry, that's a syntax error. I was supposed to use parentheses. Yes, now we have just have the first 5 rows. Now let's see the last 5 rows. Let's have tail, like heads and tails of a coin. And these are the last 5 rows. Handy and convenient. Ooh. And now, remember when I talked about using using pandas to analyze data? Well, here we're now scratching the surface of them. We can print out the information that pandas has about the array. Data, info. This print out the info. Yeah, so we can see that there's 169 entries from 0 to 168. There's 4 columns, and then this is the number of the column, and this is how many non-null counts there are, how many of them have data that are non-null, and then the type of the data inside the list. So column 0 is duration. It has 169 filled entries, and the type is an integer of 64 bytes. And then, pulse, 169 int. And then we can see that calories here has a few empty entries, and this is a float instead of an integer. And then our data types, we have 1 float and 3 integers. And the data size is 5.4 kilobytes. Yes, and then this explains data and null values. So it also tells us how many non-null values there are in each column. And, it seems like there's only 604 values in columns. But then you realize that if you try to find the average of data, or we're trying to analyze or do math with it, then you'll realize that having an empty column isn't that good. So that leads us into the next unit that we'll be doing with pandas, cleaning, which we won't be getting to today. But pandas, remember I told you, can use to change and manipulate data so we can better use it and analyze it. Well, one of them is called data cleaning, which is basically just turning data into something that's more usable. And a big fundamental part of that is getting rid of empty entries. So a row that isn't completely filled won't be very helpful in data analysis. So we can clean it. Hmm. That's something we'll be going into more depth tomorrow, I think. Yes. And that's it for the first part of pandas. Does anyone have any questions of any sort, any kind? It doesn't even have to be questions. It can just be fun things that you learn today. No? You think Python pandas is interesting? Well, it will come very useful in data analysis, and data analysis is a fundamental part of AI. So you better get used to seeing pandas, because you'll be seeing it a lot. And no questions? If we have no questions, then I think that's all we have planned for today. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be during class time. If there's any questions that you think that we might be able to answer, then always feel free to go with questions and answers. The channel's open 24/7. Yes, and thank you. I will stop my stream now. Is that it for today? Yeah, I think that's it. Well, everyone, thank you for coming as always. Mm, I hope this was useful and educational, and class is dismissed. Please feel free to go. Thank you and
Before
goodbye.
you guys leave, I just want to say one thing. Today is probably going to be the last day I'm going to be here, and the last day I'm going to be teaching you, probably. So before I leave, I just wanted to say thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being such great students. Thank you for just being here and having the fire to learn, having the motivation to learn with us, with me, and I really just appreciate it a lot, guys. I hope you guys learned something from me. I hope I was a good teacher, and yeah. It's kind of sad to say goodbye for the last time, but I do hope that it's not going to be the last time. I hope we do see each other again, and one day, hopefully in person. I can shake your hands personally. But until that day comes, it will be goodbye. So until then, thank you, goodbye, and I hope to see you guys again. And goodbye, and yeah, thank you for everything, guys, and I hope you learned a lot.
Goodbye. Yeah. Thank you.